name is Brian. I am also known as the Kings of eBay on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere that there's a social media platform. If you look up Kings of eBay, you'll find me. And I've been selling on eBay for over 25 years. And now I'm taking that knowledge and teaching everybody that's trying to get into reselling how to do it, or at least give some tips and tricks to make your life a little easier.
Okay, awesome. And so today we have Brian here with us. Tell everybody real quick where you're from again. I think you said you're in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, I live just north of Boston. I've lived just north of Boston my entire life. That's where I do all my reselling from.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you on today. I appreciate you jumping on to hang out with us. So today we're going to be talking a lot about how you were able to leave your full-time job and become a full-time reseller. I was watching, I think I watched your video either on Instagram or YouTube, and you said you started reselling at age of 14 years old. So tell our audience kind of what got you interested into reselling at such a young age, and tell us kind of how you first got started into this resale business.
So I was 14 about 25 years ago. Been a little while since then, but I heard a news report about a new website that came out called eBay that you could sell stuff and people would buy it. And it just seemed like a pretty cool thing. So I sold every item I owned on eBay. And I ended up realizing that the most expensive item I had was the one I didn't think would be, which were CDs. Now, keep in mind, this was the mid to late 90s. And there was a import charge in the UK that if you wanted a CD, even a used CD, it would cost them $30 or $40 in the UK to buy a CD. It was crazy. But for eBay, they could buy it from me for, $18 or $20, half the price. But I was buying them for 50 cents or $1 a piece. So our dollar bin CDs locally in Boston were $18 to $20 in the UK. So I just started buying out every dollar bin CD I could. Then next thing I knew, I started buying out businesses and stores that were closing. And then by the time I was 15, I was making more money than my principal.
That's awesome. So yeah, I still sell CDs today. Matter of fact, if you guys are out somewhere and you're at a yard sale or a thrift store or a pawn shop, a lot of times you can pick them up brand new in a shrink wrap for a quarter or 50 cents a piece. So kind of what is your niche on eBay? Do you have a certain niche that you specialize in? Do you want to talk about that?
So I sell a lot of everything. I deal in a lot of vintage. I'm an expert in a lot of different areas. So for me, I own an estate sale company. So I have to be able to go into a house and price every item in the house for the estate sale. So you have to have a lot of experience like I do in order to do that. So I'll go to a flea market and I'll be able to go and fill up my car with things that I think are good deals. Typically it's vintage stuff, but I like what's also known as NOS, which stands for new old stock, which typically is something that is old, but it's brand new. So if you see things with tags, like sealed items, sealed electronics, but on those are tags from businesses that no longer exists, like finding a video game that still has a Toys R Us tag on it or a KB Toys tag on it. Those are the types of things that I've done very well on. But I buy and sell everything. There really isn't anything that I typically stay away from unless it's very heavy or very fragile.
Okay, and now how many items do you have currently listed in your eBay store? And then what would be like your average sell price per item? So I want someone else, if they're following and maybe they have a job that they don't like and they want to transition from their old job to being a full-time reseller, how many items do they need to have listed in their eBay store?
So I don't think that that's the right metric. So it's not how many items you have in your store. That's not the metric and that's a misconception a lot of people have, that, you get to a certain number, you have 2,000 items or 5,000 items or whatever. I personally right now have around 1,200 items in my eBay store. That's only because I've taken off a ton of them over the last, year. I probably took off about 800 items that just weren't selling. I typically like to be between 1,800 and 2,000, and now it's the summer and my busy season, so I'll get to that point. But the metric that everyone should be following is creating a budget on Excel. That's step one. Do a budget. Excel has a a template where you can create a monthly budget and find out exactly what your number is, or as close as you can get to that number, of how much money you need to make to break even. Then you need to see how your job is handling that, and then how selling on eBay or selling online, how much of that as a side hustle is getting you to that point. Then once you exceed what your budget is of what your monthly and you're making up from your side hustle, then you can start to think about making it full time.
Okay, and so tell people your story of how you transitioned, how and why you transitioned from, I think I saw in one of your videos, you used to work in sales. So you had a regular 9-to-5 job like everybody else, and then tell people your story of how you transitioned from leaving your corporate world into now being like self-employed.
So I've been doing eBay either full time or on the side, off and on, for 25 years. So eBay has always been a part of my life. What ended up happening is I've been in sales leadership for over a decade. You just get burned out. You know, there are certain people, you get to a certain point in your life that you tell people, you know, when the last like official place that I worked, I told the founder I was working for a startup. I was the only one in the company with any sales experience, including the founder didn't have any. No one else in the company had any sales experience. I was explaining to them what they needed to do, and if they didn't do it, the company was going to go bankrupt. They were going to be out of business. I said, you've got 1 year before this company's out of business unless you do X, Y, or Z. Okay? They fired me.
Really?
Yep, they fired me, and then they went out of business in a year. So, and the reason they went out of business is because they didn't listen to any of the things that I said. And I had just had it, you know, and at that point I had made a couple, while I was still working for them, randomly, I made a couple of gigantic wholesale purchases from a few collectors. And I was actually making more money from that deal than I was from the sales leadership position. So I decided, you know what, I'm tired of working for startups, for people that just don't respect an experienced salesperson or listen to them. I had kind of had it, and I decided to move on. Now, I may end up getting back into sales at some point. I'm about to turn 39. I'm still relatively a young man, so I haven't shut the door on it, but I will always be doing eBay and having my estate sale company regardless. I'll be doing that until the day I'm no longer on this earth. But if I did get the right sales opportunity, as long as there was time, and if it was, the best thing is now with the pandemic is we can do things remote. You know, so if you can always still have a career doing something else and then transition to doing sales full time, you never have to shut any doors. That's the best thing about nowadays with remote work and being able self-employed doing reselling. You never have to shut doors. Just find new avenues to make money. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I mean, if you had a remote job and you worked like, you know, sitting in rush hour traffic for an hour to get there and an hour home, and, you know, spending your gas money and spinning your wheels, and you're able to work remotely from the computer, from the comfort of your own home, and then you still were making money on the side, reselling on eBay, that would be a good way to go. So now, what would be like your biggest advice if someone came to you off the street and they said, hey, what would be your top 3 pieces of advice as far as reselling, your reselling business? What would you tell them?
The number one and the most important thing I can teach anybody is, before you make a purchase to sell stuff online, sell everything that you currently own that you no longer need. That's the number one piece of advice. Anyone that goes and makes a giant purchase, that's never stepped foot in the reselling game, and then goes and buys a ton of stuff, stupidest thing you can do, because you are going to make mistakes. Make mistakes on the stuff that you already have. You have iPhones that have been sitting in a drawer. You have clothes that you never wear. You have shoes that, you know, maybe worth $200 and you're never going to wear them, and they're sitting in a box that you're collecting. Go through all that crap. Throw it on eBay and make some money. And then from that money, reinvest that into another purchase. But sometimes even before that, my advice number 2 is, go to everybody that you know and tell them that you're getting into this game. Say to everybody, hey, you know what, if you have stuff that you want me to sell, or you have stuff you want to give away, I'll take it. You know, if you have stuff and start out free, hey, you want me to take it, I'll be your clean out person. I'll take it, go through it, throw out what is garbage, sell what's good. There's a lot of people who make 6 figures a year that either dumpster dive, get stuff from the trash, get stuff from free stuff on Facebook groups, and they make over $100,000 a year. But those are the people that truly hustle. So that's the number 3 thing. If you're just dipping a pinky toe into this and you sell one item, and maybe there's an issue. Maybe you get a return on your very first item, and you're like, oh, this is such a pain. I don't want to deal with this. Then you weren't meant for this. This isn't the life that you want. Then you shouldn't be doing it. But for people like me that, have sold, I don't even know at this point how many tens of thousands of items. I sell over 3,000 items a year. So for me, I have a very large eBay business. I look at people that get frustrated over one or two items. I get a ton of returns every month. But guess what? My margins are so good that I'm able to just keep going. So don't get frustrated. That'd be my number 3 piece of advice.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to have, returns. I had an item the other day where I had shipped it to the customer and they said they didn't receive the item, and I pulled up the tracking number and it showed it was delivered 3 days ago. So it's just, you're gonna run into issues. But guys, even these big companies like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, they have returns. They have headaches as well. So it's just part of doing business. All right. So tell everybody where they can check you out and find you on YouTube and Instagram. I have all the links down below, but let them know where they can go by and check you out at.
So on TikTok, I have over 20,000 followers. I use TikTok the most. That's my number 1 platform. I have over 400 videos that you can look at for free on TikTok. Also on YouTube, Kings of eBay on everything. YouTube, I have a bunch of exclusive videos there. Instagram, I have a bunch of exclusive videos on there. And now I've started up with Twitter and I don't know. And there's another platform I can't even remember. I'm on every social media thing. Just look up Kings of eBay and you'll find me.
Yep. I'm following our guest on YouTube and Instagram, so I have his links listed down below. So go ahead and follow our guest. Now, do you have any other words of wisdom you can leave our audience with? If someone says, hey, I want to make, they don't have to leave their full-time job, but let's say they want to make a full-time income from eBay. Is there any other advice that you could give them that would help them out to make a full-time income from eBay?
Yeah, don't quit your job. That's another stupid thing that people do. They just get tired and they hate their job, they quit it, and they think that they can just jump into this. Listen, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'm telling you, it's still a hustle every day to source and find stuff, to sit down and list things, packing and shipping and going to the post office and FedEx. Like, this isn't an easy job. Like, I just want to make that very clear. I tell I'd say the majority of my secrets of stuff on TikTok and all these other channels, partly because I fear no competitor, because no one wants to really do this job. The difference is that this is a different kind of hustle. It's a very difficult job. And, most of my life I've been known as the eBay guy. That's why I've been Kings of eBay. When I was younger, I was referred to as the King of eBay. And now that I got a 4-year-old son, I changed it to Kings of eBay because one day, he's hopefully going to get to take over. So
he's going to inherit all this stuff of yours one day, right?
I have between all of my properties, all of my businesses, all of my money and items and everything. That kid's pretty much set for life at this point.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. So I work as hard as I can every day to make sure that, when the time comes, which I hope is a very, very long time from now, that he is set, that he never has to worry about anything in his life. That's my main motivation for everything that I do.
All right, for sure. Guys, go ahead and follow our guests. All the links are down below. You go ahead and follow him, Kings of eBay. He drops plenty of knowledge and tips and advice to help you grow and scale your reselling business. So I have all the links down below. So go ahead and follow our guest, and I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a great day. Bye, everybody.